Good morning, students. I welcome you all in today's online class. Today, you have to do a different type of work that you have to write down class notes, and I have attached with this video one PDF file. With the help of this PDF file, you will write down the class notes, and also in the last class I had given some MCQs related to this chapter, and I hope you have already written with question, answer, options, all the things in a better way, and also you recheck the spelling, etc., and also the answer. So today your duty to that is understand again. It is one type of revision also, because maximum things we have completed in this chapter, so it is one type of revision, and side by side that you have to write down the class notes. Today I am providing some class notes. Again in the next class I will provide some class notes. So like that we will complete the class notes, then we will go for the question answer of the exercise. So before going to the that is direct revision of this chapter, so here are some instructions to maintain a good class note copy, and how to prepare and how to write, etc. So first of all, you have to, you know very well, there are three, that is three is the copies you have to make. One that is for theory 1, another that is for theory 2, another that is practical. So 3 copies you have to make. So here you have to make a separate copy for the second theory book, that is India Physical Environment, and you have to write down the questions and answers both in the copy, or it may be heading then answer, or the explanation or the details. So it is not that is that I can tell you that it is you have to do, but it is one type of you can say that is God advice, that if you will write down the question or heading by different pen and the answer by different pen, then it will be recognizable that which one is question and which one is answer. So that's why use 2 pens and draw the diagram by pencil always. Remember, again I am telling, draw the diagram by pencil, and wherever diagram is applicable, and wherever in the class note I have given the diagram, you have to draw this diagram by pencil, no use of pen. Next, that is write down the page number on the top of the page, right hand side, page number and date column given. You have to write down page number, date, and also you have to maintain the content page. That means in the beginning of the copy there one content page present, you will write down chapter number, then title of the chapter, then that is page number, from which page number to which page number, this is for chapter number 1, and also if date is given, then date you will give it, then signature column of teacher, it will remain blank. Next, that is that you have to maintain the content page, that I have already told. And wherever you are starting a new chapter, whenever, that means today you are going to write down the chapter number 1, India location. At that time you will do which thing, you have to write down the chapter number and title of the chapter on the top of the page, then you will start to write down the class notes. So these are the some guidelines. I hope that you will maintain a good handwriting and neat and clean copy with diagram, with class note and everything, and also you will recheck everything, that you should not mess up the things, you should not that is make mistake, that is also. So this is the guideline to maintain a good class note copy. So here you have to use a separate copy. Now come to the next. So first thing, that is what, parallel or line of latitude. So parallel means, first of all you have to say it is an imaginary line, there is no real existence of that type of line. If you go to search that type of line on the earth, really there is no existence. These are imaginary line we have drawn on the globe for some that is for some importance. And what type of importance, like that is to find out the location, to get the coordinates, etc. So these lines are running, that is from east to west, that means from your right hand side to, that means from east to west, from your right hand side to left hand side, that is from east to west. Next, that is and they are circular line because run east edge at circle and parallel to the equator. Take a look, all the lines, all the line of latitude are parallel to the equator and side by side parallel to each other also. And some important parallels examples are given, like the equator 0 degree, its magnitude, it is also called as 0 degree, is called as latitude of this line. The Tropic of Cancer 23 degree 30 minute north, the Arctic Circle 66 degree 30 minute north, etc. So always remember that is parallel or line of latitude means they are drawn from east to west and also around the earth like a circle, and they are parallel to the equator, they are parallel to each other also. And some examples are also given, but always remember there are some important parallels present. Who are they? 0 degree means equator and 23 degree 30 minute north, that means Tropic of Cancer 66 degree 30 minute north, Arctic Circle. Now come to the southern hemisphere, 23 degree 30 minute south, Tropic of Capricorn 66 degree 30 minute south, Antarctic Circle. These are the important parallels. These are the important parallels, but it does not mean that these are only the parallels we can draw. Clear? Now come to the next. So here you have to draw the diagram also in the right hand side. You have to write down the heading at first by different pen. It is better to write down heading by black pen and then answer by blue pen, then draw the diagram in the right hand side by pencil. Next, characteristics of parallels. So what are the characteristics or important features? Number one, parallels are imaginary. That already we discussed. These are imaginary, there is no real existence. Circular line, because if you see the that is 3D form of the globe, at that time you will see that parallels are around the earth. That means like a circle, it is located around the earth. That's why second point, parallels are parallel to the equator and also parallel to each other. Third number, these are drawn from east to west, that is from right hand side to left hand side. The distance between two parallels are equal. Take a look in this diagram, you can easily find out this thing. The distance between two parallels are equal, but the length of each parallel is different. Yes, length is different. The distance covered by a parallel, it is different. So when you will see that distance covered by equator, it is biggest, that means it is the largest one. Then Tropic of Cancer, then Arctic Circle. That means what? When you are moving from equator towards the North Pole, the distance or the length of each parallel, that is decreasing. When you are moving from equator towards the South Pole, that means 90 degrees south up to that, at that time also you will see that length that of each parallel is gradually decreasing towards the North Pole and towards the South Pole from equator. So length is decreasing gradually towards the North Pole or South Pole from equator, but the distance or the gap between two parallels, these are always remain same. Here also you have to draw the diagrams. Next, that is what? That is called next topic you have to write down, that is called as what? Latitude. So first of all, I have told that whenever we are talking about that is parallel or line of latitude, there is also one thing we should know, the magnitude. Like I have told, equator is equal to 0 degree. Like Tropic of Cancer means what? 23 degree 30 minute north. Then Antarctic Circle, that is what? 66 degree 30 minutes south. Tropic of Capricorn 23 degree 30 minute north. So that means what? Each and every parallel has some magnitude. It has some angular distance from the equatorial plane, and this angular distance is called as what? Latitude. How to draw the line of latitude, this topic we will discuss in practical at the time of doing practical. Here just remember that the lines which are drawn from east to west, that is from your right hand side to left hand side, and which are circular and which are imaginary, these lines are called as what? Parallel or line of latitude. And the magnitude or the value of these lines, angular distance from the equatorial plane, and that is called as what? The latitude. That means equator is equal to 0 degree. This 0 degree is the latitude and equator is the parallel or line of latitude. So this is the thing, and it ranges from 0 degree at the equator to 90 degree north and 90 degree south towards the North Pole and South Pole. And the literal meaning, the word latitude is derived from a Latin word latus, meaning wide. meaning that is what? Wide. Here also you have to draw the diagram. It is drawn from that is right hand side to left hand side. That's why here literal meaning is also that is what? Wide. Next, that is equatorial plane, because in this latitude class note you have seen that is what? That latitude is the angular distance from the equatorial plane. Now you have to understand what is called the equatorial plane. Take a look. This is the globe with so many networks of parallels and meridians. And take a look, the equator is the black color line in this diagram. Along this black color line there is a circle. Here you can understand that why parallels are called a circle. Take a look, these are moving like a circle around the earth. Clear? That's why. And also you can see the distance gap between two parallels, these are also same. That's why. But when you are moving from equator towards the north pole, you can see here that is what? The length of each parallel is decreasing. If you compare the length between that is 0 degree equator and here that is near the north pole, you can see that near the north pole its length is very less near the north pole, but in the exact north pole there is no existence of any parallel because it is a point. So this is the plane. Pink color portion, you can see this pink color portion, that means around the equator, through the equator. When we are searching a plane surface, that is called as what? Equatorial plane or equatorial surface. Here also you have to write down the plane passing through the equator is called as equatorial plane. Then you have to draw the diagram. You will draw these networks of parallels and meridians. Then you will draw the black color equator line. Then you will put the color that is pink color in the equatorial plane. That is the thing you have to draw only here in this class note. Now come to the next, meridian or line of longitude. So an imaginary semicircular line that drawn from the north pole to the south pole. Take a look, just opposite of the parallels. Parallels are drawn from east to west, that means from your right hand side to your left hand side, but meridians are drawn from the north pole to the south pole. But another difference is what? Parallels are what? Parallels are circular line, but meridians are semicircular line. So no, and also meridians are cutting the equator at right angle. That is also. So this is meridian. Here also you have to draw the diagram and you have to write down the leveling also. Next, characteristics of meridians or lines of longitudes. Now important features. Here again same, meridians are imaginary lines. And also I told that meridians are different from parallels. They are drawn from north pole to the south pole, but parallels are drawn from east to west. And meridians are not parallel to each other, but parallels are parallel to each other. So here meridians are not parallel to each other. You can see here the length of each meridian is equal. The length of each meridian is what? Equal. But meridians cut the equator at right angle. If you see that here equator present, and when this meridian passing through the equator, it is creating what type of angle? That is right angle. And here that is you have to draw the diagram also. In maths you have already read about the right angle, so you have to draw the diagram, and this is the class note. Next, that is longitude. Again the same thing. When we are drawing the semicircular line from north pole to south pole, that is called as meridian. And when we are telling that yes, that is the value or magnitude of this meridian, like the value or magnitude of prime meridian is 0 degree. That means what? The 0 degree is the longitude, and the prime meridian or central meridian, the line, vertical line from north pole to south pole, and the semicircular line, these lines are called as what? Meridians. Lines are called as meridians which are drawn from north pole to south pole, and the value or magnitude of these lines or meridians, these are called as longitudes. So here also same, the angular distance of a place. So longitude, latitude both are angular distance. The angular distance of a place east or west of the Greenwich meridian. Greenwich meridian means this 0-degree meridian, this prime meridian is also called as Greenwich meridian because it passes through one place, Greenwich, which is located in London. That's why the name of the prime meridian is also called as Greenwich meridian. I told at the time of discussion of time zone. The angular distance of a place east or west of the Greenwich meridian or prime meridian, usually expressed in degrees and minutes. Everywhere, that is angular distance means that is with the degree, and if it has minute, then these minutes also you have to add there. So always remember, that is angular distance east or west of which line, prime meridian or another name Greenwich meridian. And the literal meaning, the word longitude is derived from Latin word longus, meaning length. Meaning that is what? Length. Take a look, they are extended from North Pole to South Pole. Like a vertical line, it not exactly vertical line, that's why here that is length. Clear? But parallels are drawn from right to left or east to west, that's why there that is wide, here that is length. So always remember that latitude, that is expressed by north, capital N, or capital S, that is south, because here that is north of the equator or south of the equator, parallels are expressed. And here longitudes are expressed by which thing, which letter, E, capital E, that means east, or capital W, that means west. East of the prime meridian, west of the prime meridian, east of the Greenwich meridian or west of the Greenwich meridian. Now come to the next, hemisphere. First of all, the literal meaning. The word hemisphere is derived from two words, hemi means half, and sphere. So half of the sphere, that is called as what? Hemisphere. Half of the sphere or half of the earth. So earth is usually divided into northern, southern halves by the equator. Take a look, there are two main lines present. Equator, that is one parallel. It divides the earth into two equal divisions. When only equator present, then two division, north of the equator and south of the equator, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. And when there only, you are imagining that one line present, that is prime meridian from north pole to south pole, then it has created two divisions towards its right hand side, that means towards the eastern hemisphere, and towards its left hand side, that means western hemisphere. So along the equator, or according to the equator, we are getting how many hemispheres? Two hemispheres, northern and southern. And according to prime meridian, we are getting two hemispheres, eastern and western hemispheres. So there are how many hemispheres present? Four hemispheres present. Two hemispheres, north south hemisphere, these are created by equator, and eastern and western hemisphere, these are created by whom? That is prime meridian. Now come to the next, how many hemispheres are there? Already we have got the answer, four hemispheres. And who are they? That the equator makes how many hemispheres? Two hemispheres, northern and southern, and that is the prime meridian or the central meridian or the Greenwich meridian creates or makes two hemispheres, the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. Here also you have to draw a diagram. Next, that is the northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere means, always remember, it is located in the north of the equator, and northern hemisphere means North America is coming, total North America coming, and that is Africa 2/3 part, Europe total, Asia maximum, that means most of the part, and that is South America only 10%. So, and remember one extra info, 90% of world's population live in which thing? That is northern hemisphere. Why is it so? Because at the time of discussion of climate, we'll discuss this thing. So that's all for today. You will write down every class note with heading by different pen, that is class note, and also drawing by pencil. Wherever you are getting, that is you have to draw the map or that type of globe, so it is better to draw by oneself. Don't go for the pasting of the map, but if you can't, then you can go for pasting of the map. Otherwise you have to use that type of diagram, you have to draw the diagram. So that's all for today. If you have any query, you put up the query, feel free to contact. And also I have already given you the revised syllabus, that is which was already announced by CBSE. So you can check. I have already given in our group. So you check this, and what are the chapters already deleted. You have to that is find out them, and these things in this session we are not going to read. So you have to write down this thing also, that which chapters are not included for this session only. So thank you and have a nice day.